It's time for another new makeup update. I have a bunch of new makeup that I've been trying, that I'm ready to review, and I'm going to be telling you about all my feelings about them. So let's get into it. Alright, I'm inserting as many swatches and looks and things and information as I can with these, but there's a lot of makeup here, like it's a lot. Alright, I want to start with the Kiko Milano and Bridgerton collab collection. I have so many products from this collection, and one of the reasons for that is that they slowly kind of in phases release the collection. Not entirely on purpose, I think, and another reason is that I just really love this collection. It's a beautiful collection and it has very good quality products. Alright, let's start with the last thing that I've tried from this collection. I did a video with these lipsticks and then I also did a few other things in that video. I will link as many videos with like my whole thoughts, first impression as I can down below. But these are the Bridgerton and Kiko Milano Ballroom Beauty lipsticks. It doesn't even say the name on the bullet, but they are like the Ballroom Beauty Shine lipstick. These are kind of like a semi-transparent, sheer-ish, shiny lipstick. We have, I believe, 6 shades. I have 3 of the shades. This is 01, which is more of a rosy nude. I really like this shade. This is a beautiful shade. I think this is my favorite. Like, this is a go-to for me. I love rosy nudes. This is really nice. Then the next shade that I have here is 03. And this is kind of similar. It's also a little bit of a more rosy nude, but this one is a little bit deeper, turns a little bit more brown on the lips. This one I have to be a little bit careful with. It is a little bit like a loose in the packaging, like the bullet in the packaging. I kind of pressed it back, but I'm also a bit careful with that one. I don't know what happened with that one. Maybe it fell during transport, I don't know. And then I also have a 05, which is kind of like a brighter berry color. It turns pretty bright on me. I really like the formula of this. It's very flattering, it's beautifully shiny, it's very hydrating. It's just a beautiful effect on the lips. I really love the whole vibe of this part of the collection. I really like the packaging. I would say that these are pretty up to par, like to the standard what I'm used to from Kiko Milano. I would say though that if you are not someone who cares a lot about Bridgerton, a lot of these products you can find at Kiko Milano for like a way lower price. But if you like Bridgerton, if you like these colors, these are really nice lipsticks. And by the way, they are more of that thicker satin shine version of the sheer shiny lipsticks that Kiko Milano does in their limited editions. Sometimes they also have something that is a little bit more thin. These are a little bit thicker, and this one is the formula that I prefer. Then I also have 2 of the quads. I bought one of the quads first, and I believe it was this one. I really loved this quad. Love the quality of it. It has some beautiful colors in it. I love how this all like works together on the eyes. This is a very interesting formula for Kiko Milano. I don't feel like I have seen it before, or it has been a while since they've done this, because the mattes in here are very pigmented for Kiko Milano. Usually they are a little bit softer, and then these shimmers, they are more of a traditional shimmer, almost a little bit on the satiny side. But then they are very pigmented, and there's something very creamy and very impactful about them. So this one is a 02 Ballroom Bliss. So this is the more brown one with a purple shimmer in there. And then after that, after I tried that one, I also bought this one. This is the one in 03 Romantic Rhapsody. This is the one where I did a little tutorial with for this video. This is also what I'm wearing today, of course. And this one is a little bit more mauvey. It's a little bit purpley pink. We have a pop of gold in here. I feel like this is a little bit more of an all round, or like a quad where I would use all the shades. The other one has that light bone matte, which I can use for the inner corner, by the way. But I feel like I also wanted to try something where I would truly often, like when I would reach into this, use all the shades. And I also really like the undertones in this. This works really well. It's just different than I expected. I feel like the quality in this is amazing. We don't have like crazy shimmery metallics, but the way these metallics look on the eyes, I feel like it's very flattering. By the way, I did apply a little bit of something else over top to kind of like bring some lightness back in the inner corner. So this is like a few steps further into the look. But I really like the formula. I feel like the mattes are really nice pigmented, very blendable. Like you can also see in the tutorial that The dark brown, it was really pigmented but then really easy to blend, and I just think this is a great formula and I would love to see more from this. It's just that kind of standard formula in a way, but in a way that I really love. Then another thing that I really enjoyed from this collection is the Bridgerton Bouquet Blush and Highlighter Duo. They had two duos in this collection and I got the lighter one. And this one is called 01 Rose Ecstasy. And this one has kind of like a rosy satin matte blush in there, and then also a very blinding, very creamy champagne, kind of like cooler tone champagne highlighter. This is a beautiful combination. It looks amazing on the cheeks. I love the quality of the highlighter. The blush is also really beautiful. And it's just a really like nice compact duo. It's really easy to take with you. By the way, I also personally really like the packaging that they did for this collection. I feel like it's very much a good combination of Kiko, Milano and Bridgerton. Like, this is what I would hope for from them. I like it better than the Pat McGrath, at least. Let's see. I ended up with two shades of the liquid eyeshadow that they came out with in this collection, and these are called the Gilded Glaze Shimmering Cream Eyeshadow. These are so beautiful. If you know me, then you probably know that I have very oily lids and I have a lot of trouble with like cream and liquid eyeshadows, but these stay on very well. They are very beautifully shiny. They are easy to apply. If I want this to last a really long time, I add my usual eyeshadow primer underneath, but I can also use this as an eyeshadow primer and it will last like pretty long, like maybe 10 hours. I don't really have any issues with it. I have shade 01 and this one was, it doesn't say on the packaging, but I believe this was a Lady Whistledown's Whisper, and this was a little bit more of a like a rose gold shimmery shade, really beautiful, a little bit more on the nude side. And then I had 03. I will put all the names and everything in the description box, but this was a kind of like duochromy purpley one. It has a warmer purple to more of a cool tone purple shift to it. These are really beautiful. These are a little bit on the expensive side, but everything in this collection is a little bit on the expensive side, so keep that in mind. But I do feel like the quality of these is amazing. It looks very stunning. These are very like shimmery, but not in a chunky way. I really like how kind of like sophisticated and easy to use these are. Then I also have two of the lip glosses. These were the Brilliant Bliss lip gloss, and I first tried this one, the one in 02. This is a cream lip gloss. When I first applied it, I was a bit like, is it necessary to get this from this collection? But the more I used it, the more I loved it. It's very hydrating, it looks super glossy, it has a beautiful amount of pigmentation. I think this is a beautiful gloss, and this is right now one of my favorite glosses in my collection. I think this is a great formula and just a beautiful color. I really like this one. And then I decided to also try one of the shimmery ones. This is the one in 04. This is the red shimmer gloss. I think this is really pretty as well. The cream pinky gloss is just a little bit more like everyday for me, so that's gonna be my favorite anyway, but I really like a red sparkly gloss as well. And I feel like the way this sparkles on lips is just very beautiful, very juicy looking, and yeah, I just really like this formula. Then something that kind of surprised me. It surprised me that this was in a collection, and then also the quality surprised me. So this is the Kiko, Milano, Bridgerton, what was this called? The Ballroom Bling Liquid Eyeliner. And this is a multi-chrome liquid eyeliner. It is so pigmented, it is so shiny, it lasts so long, it is so beautiful. This is a beautiful product, and it kind of feels indie to me. Like, it feels a step up, it feels indie, it feels special. I would not have expected a multi-chrome eyeliner in this collection at all, but what they did really well, and I'm kind of like, where did this come from? Did they do this before? I don't think so. This one is really nice. If you're looking for a multi-chrome eyeliner and you don't want to buy from indie brands, you don't want to pay for the shipping, Kiko, Milano is really accessible to you. Like, this is really nice. And then I think we've come to the last product in this collection, from this collection. And these are the lip balms. The Upland Aura lip balm. I have all of the shades, and these are really interesting. They have a packaging that is similar to the Satin Shine lipsticks, but it's a little bit more slim. And then they are pretty like soft, balmy. They feel a little bit like thicker on the lips than some balms that I've tried from Kiko Milano, and they are very kind of like shifty. Kind of depends on which one of these you like apply, but they're kind of shifty, they're kind of iridescent, they have some shimmer to it. It kind of depends on which one, how shimmery it is, but this one was 01, which is a very light iridescent shade, kind of like more on the purplish side. And then we also have a 02, which is called Iridescent Ivy. And this one has a very, very cool tone purple shift to it. It looks green when you look at it like this, but it's actually very, very purple when you apply it. Then we also have two that are a little bit more like pigmented in the base. And I think that these are my favorites because these are a little bit easier to wear on their own. Like the other more iridescent ones, I would combine with something else to make it look a little bit more wearable. So this is Coral Persuasion, and this one is a little bit more like warm, a little bit more pinky. But the one that has the most pigment is Dazzling Dahlia. And this one, it's a little bit more on the purpley side, but because it's sheer, it becomes a little bit more natural. But this one is definitely the most pigmented one. I think this one and the coral one are my favorites. All in all, I think these are a pretty nice balm, but they are very like out there. Like they are shimmery, they are shifty. These are a little frosty. They feel very nice though, and they can be like combined with things to make them look more wearable, but these are not my go-tos. I feel like the Set and Shine lipsticks, those are a little bit more easy to wear. And also that pink gloss, those are like day to day. I feel like these are a little bit more out there than you would expect from a balm. Then I also tried a bunch of Catrice recently, and I feel like I'm ready to share some thoughts. So first up, I tried a lot of things from their regular line that I hadn't tried before. So it was kind of like rediscovering, like looking at the line in a new way. Sometimes you feel like I've tried everything, but then there are a lot of things that have been around forever that you haven't really delved into. I've actually liked a lot of those things that I have tried. One that I didn't really like is this one. So this is the Tensational 10-in-1 Dream Primer. This I don't really understand. It has a color to it which is very, very yellow, and I feel like that color like made me look very yellow, but I also feel like this wouldn't work on a lot of people. Why are you giving this a color if you're only coming out with one color? This could work maybe if there were more colors, but this one color is gonna suit not that many skin tones. I know it's sheer, but it was very visible to me and I couldn't really use this. I didn't really like it. Also, it has perfume in it. I don't really prefer that when I'm applying something all over the skin. But okay, some people don't have an issue with perfume. But I didn't love it. I applied it, it looked yellow, it was weird. I feel like they could market this a little better, because you see this in store and you don't really know what it is, and you open it at home and it is a yellow, almost skin tint kind of product. So I didn't get this. And then something that I've been really enjoying is the Catrice All Matte Plus Shine Control Powder. This one I have been kind of like using on the daily. This has become a part of my routine. It is just very easy to use. It looks really nice on the skin. It is just very effortless. I like the packaging. Like, it looks like drugstore, yes, but it's very easy to travel with. I don't know, every time I apply this on my skin I just feel like it looks really good. It's not too matte, it's not too flat, it doesn't feel weird, it doesn't feel dry. Today I applied something else to kind of mattify, so I don't really have a lot to mattify, so I couldn't really use it today, but I think this is a great one. Sometimes I can't really put my finger on something. You just apply something and you're like, that looks great. And sometimes you apply something and you're like, that doesn't look good. But what is going on? But I just feel like this makes my skin look really good. It's easy to use. I don't have any issues with it. It just has become a part of my routine. And then the bronzer that I'm wearing today, this is a Catrice Sun Glow Matte Bronzing Powder. It's water resistant and it says it's for medium skin. It says 030 medium bronze. I feel like the colors in this line from this bronzer are very strange, because there's this 030 and then there's like, I don't know, 040 or 050, that's a deeper shade, but then there's nothing for fair skin. I don't really understand. I quite like this bronzer. It is a little bit more on the neutral, warmish bronzy side, but it's not orangey. It's quite easy to use. It's not too pigmented. It is not a flat matte. It's kind of like this skin-like finish. Is it my new absolute favorite bronzer? No, but it is quite nice. But I feel like that also has to do with the color. I have to be in the mood for a color like this, for a more warm color. Usually I go for a little bit of a cooler undertone than this, but it is quite nice. I quite like it. Alright, then this eyeshadow palette, I don't know what it is, but every time I use this eyeshadow palette, I feel very beautiful. It just does something. It is very basic. It has very basic taupish brown colors, but there's something about the effect of these shimmers. They are not sparkly. They are more of that standard metallic, but there's something about them. They look very flattering, and I feel like also this undertone, like the colors in here, work really well for me. And because of that, I've actually come to quite like this palette. I was just like, well, let's try it, and then it kind of surprised me how much I actually liked it. But it's like, for me, a bit of a one-trick pony. Like, it's not that there is so much different between these shades, or you can build it up that much, but for what it is and the looks that it can give me, it's quite nice. The mattes are quite pigmented and they are blendable and they do show up in the eyes, and then the shimmers are just very flattering, and it just creates this very soft, beautiful look. It kind of makes me think of like a more luxurious formula, but it's drugstore. The lip liner that I'm wearing today, this is the Catrice Lip Plumping Lip Liner with Maxi Lip in the shade 150 Queen Vibes. I've really enjoyed this. It's very precise, it's very long wearing, it's a beautiful color, it's easy to apply. Only thing you have to keep in mind, be quick, because it dries down and then it's kind of like stuck on your lips. It doesn't want to move, and then it's really hard to like go over again. So make sure that like one part of your lip is good and then move on to the next part. That's the only thing I'll say, but I really like this color. I think this is a beautiful liner. It's very precise. Really like the formula. It's just very long wearing, and yeah, I think I'm gonna check out if there are other shades in this line that I like. Then I use this again today. This is the Catrice, the Perfector Poreless Blur Primer with Niacinamide. I really like this primer. It's very mattifying. It really like makes your skin look smoother, reduces the appearance of pores. This is a really nice one. I believe this one also doesn't have any perfume in it, which I really like. It doesn't have any alcohol. I liked it. I liked it. I like seeing this. But this works really well. It's really nice and it's very affordable. I think this is a great product. It makes my skin look really good. It's not too mattifying. It doesn't like drain the moisture out of my skin. I feel like this is not just for like oily skin types. Like, I have dry skin and I applied it over here, and I feel like it looks and feels really good. So this is a really nice one. I would recommend it. If you're looking for that blurring primer type product, this like does so much. It makes such a huge difference. Then this is the brow pencil I'm using today. This is the Catrice Slimatic Ultra Precise Brow Pencil, waterproof. I lost the little cap for the spoolie. I don't know where it went, but this is a really nice brow pencil. It works really well. It's very precise. I really like the color of this. The only thing that I will say is that this like twisted part, it sometimes feels a little loose, but I've kind of gotten used to it and now I don't find it to be an issue anymore. I think this is a really nice alternative to something like the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. I really like this one. This is a good one. Like, that one really has become a part of my routine as well. And then something else that I've been using basically non-stop since I tried it in that video. I also put it in my top 3 in every category that I did recently. And also, by the way, did that with that brow pencil. But this is the Catrice Liquid Camouflage High Coverage Concealer. I have shade 010. This is either Ivory or... what was the other? Porcelain. Porcelain, I think this was. This is quite a nice concealer. I like the color on me. I like the way it sits on my skin. I like the way it brightens under my eyes. I feel like this is quite long wearing. I do have to say I only use a little bit of this. Like, I don't do like big triangles under my eyes, I just take the tiniest bit and then I blend it out. And I just feel like it really has done a lot for making my makeup look a little bit more makeup. Like sometimes you just want the makeup to make up a little bit more. And then I use this. I really like it for filming. I really like the look of it. I just think this is a really nice concealer. I do have to say that I am not someone who has tried hundreds of concealers in their life. I have not really been into that, but for what I've tried, I really like this. Then I tried the Catrice Generation Joy collection, and there are some hits here, but there are also some not so hits here. Like, not everything here was good. One thing that I feel is kind of so-so is this eyeshadow palette. I don't feel like the quality in this is bad. Like the shimmers are quite nice. The mattes are usable. I also feel like at least we have some lighter mattes, some mid-tone mattes, and a deeper matte. Like this is better than a lot of things I've seen from Catrice in their limited editions. But there's still something kind of off from here. Something where I'm not super excited to do looks with this. And I think for me, it has a lot to do with this green that turned out to be not that pigmented. And I feel like if you're going for color, often it looks a little odd when it's like this wishy-washy like wash of color. It kind of depends on the color. I feel like with some colors you can get away with that a little more. I feel like whenever I do look with this green, it just looks a little odd, and that is kind of what got me excited for this palette. Like the lilac is kind of good. There are some good shades in here, but it doesn't get me like super excited, and I just wish they stepped it up a little bit more with the formula and got like a very good all-round palette. It's not that it's bad. I feel like a lot of people could enjoy it, but this just didn't get me very excited, and was kind of a chore to do more looks with this. Like I just did like the pre-shower, like pre-going to sleep, you're gonna wash it off in 5 minutes anyway looks with this, because I just didn't want to walk around with it all day. So that says a lot. Then something that I've really enjoyed from this collection, surprisingly kind of, like not really but kind of, is this lip duo. So the Generation Joy lip pencil, this was in the shade Real Rosewood, and then also the kind of like sheer shiny caring lipstick, this was also in the shade Real Rosewood. And these together, I don't know, it just does something to me. It just makes me feel things. It just gets me very excited. Sometimes you just come across this color that is just a little different and you don't really see it a lot, but it hits the spot. It's just the right thing. It just vibes with everything. And I feel like this is that kind of thing. This is such a beautiful, glowy, glossy, very flattering, beautiful shade. I really like this type of kind of like fresh rose shade, because it is more of a fresh rose shade. It's a little bit, I don't know, pulls a little like peachy pink, but also not too light. It's very interesting, but whenever I wear this, I just feel very beautiful, and I just love the color that this has. Feels really nice on the lips. There is something a little plumping going on, but it's not too much, like it's not too minty, and I just really like this duo. Like I have worn this with a lot of excitement. Like whenever I was wearing this, I was like looking in the mirror and be like, ooh, that's good, that's good. So I like this a lot. But it's also like personal color preference, but the formulas also very nice, very nice. The liner, just the right amount of like pigmented and glidey, but not too glidey. And that lipstick, if they had a full line of that, I would probably buy all shades that I remotely like. Like sadly, the other shades in this collection are not shades that I'm gonna wear. Otherwise, I would have bought more for sure. Alright, then we also have the mascara. This is a pretty nice mascara. This is also in the Rosewood shade. This is kind of cute. Have I been wearing it on the daily? Not really, because it's a little bit of an interesting shade. I do feel like for me this is more of a no makeup look, because I do quite like it whenever I'm not really wearing anything else on the eyes. Then it gives me the right amount of definition on the lashes. But if I am wearing eyeshadow, I feel like this kind of makes my lashes disappear. It doesn't really work for me, so it kind of depends on the look if I like this. But it's quite a cute color and I've quite enjoyed it. It is a pretty like standard mascara formula. It's not extremely lengthening, it's not extremely volumizing, but it does what it's supposed to do, I guess. Like, it's pretty good. And then another thing that didn't really work out for me, this is the Generation Joy Blush Lighter Stick in CO2 Make Me Blush. This is just way too balmy. I have discovered actually that I quite like balmy cheek products because I just have dry skin, and I've been really dealing with dry skin like the past, I don't know, since past fall I've been really struggling, and I have discovered that I like balmy cheek products, but this is too balmy. Like, it's so lightly pigmented, it doesn't smooth over the skin, it looks like you almost did nothing. It's something that just kind of blends away, and I don't love it. I don't feel like this does anything for me. This is not a very good product. It's also not a very bad product in the sense that it doesn't really mess up anything, but that is also because you don't really see anything. Okay, some Revolution. The Peptide Pout Lip Treatment. So this is supposed to be a lip treatment that makes your lips look fuller over time. I feel like this does a lot. It's a little bit of an interesting texture. It feels kind of grainy. I don't know, it comes kind of grainy out of the packaging, but I can live with that. I can definitely live with that because it does a lot. Like, it makes my lips feel and look smoother, fuller. Like, it's really strange, but I can see it happening and I like it. Like, it just smooths them over. It's really nice. This works really well. Then the Pro Dewy Glaze Serum Highlighter in Pink Glow. This is quite nice. It is a poofy style highlighter. It's kind of like this icy pink. It's a little bit more thin, a little bit more serumy, a little bit more lightweight than other poof style highlighters that I've tried from Revolution. I quite like it. It's quite beautiful. It's easy to work with. It's not my new favorite, but it could become something. Like, something could grow, but it has some potential. I like the color, I like the way this looks on the skin. Then I also bought one of these new lipsticks from Revolution, and this is Brunch Pink Nude. It doesn't say what the formula is called. What is this? They always put those stickers on the packaging with the name, but you have to rip it off, otherwise you can't open it. It's a little annoying, but this is Brunch Pink Nude. It didn't really work for me. The shade didn't really work for me. I feel like I should try another shade to really make up my mind, because this looks very patchy, very uneven, very unflattering on my lips. It did feel very comfortable, but this was not a success. And I just know that if I would try and like do the wear test and everything with this, it wouldn't really work out because it doesn't look good from the start. So I might give this formula another go, but this shade was not the right shade to do that with, to try it with. Then I tried some Romand, their spring collection. What was it called? Spring Fever. I tried some of their Juicy Lasting Tint. Right now I am wearing, which one was I wearing? I think it was Breeze Fake. So this is like a juicy, shiny tint. Hadn't tried this formula before. It is quite nice. It lasts quite a long time. These are quite subtle, so I don't have any issues with it looking weird over time or looking patchy. I feel like if you have really dry lips and you wear quite a deep shade and it kind of fades off, it starts looking a little patchy. I do not have that issue with these shades because they are lighter. They're quite comfortable. I like the shine of these. These are beautiful shades. I quite like this formula. It's a good formula. It's not my new go-to, but I feel like there's some potential for me with lip stains. Like a few months ago, I was like, lip stains don't work for me. My lips are too dry, but like there's something, like I'm discovering things. I could be convinced that it is more my thing than I thought. But these are quite nice. I like them. And then I tried two shades of the Glasting Color Gloss, 07 and 08. 07 was called Spring Fever and 08 was called Cherry Up. These are nice glosses. I already knew that I like the formula. Usually I don't really come back to the formula if I like try new shades, because then I've already updated you on the formula, but because these are brighter shades, they looked a little different on the lips than the other shades, and I would have to say that the original line is like my true favorite, and these are nice, but not my absolute favorite, because I feel like these have a little bit more of a tendency to show some texture, to look a little bit uneven. These are not perfect in my eyes, and the original shades, they are perfect in my eyes. So I would recommend those over these personally. They are a little bit on the patchy side, a little bit. Like, you can work with it, like scrub your lips, make it look better, make it look smooth, use some lip balm, but the other ones I don't have to think about at all. Then something that I've been really enjoying, I even put this in my top 3 in every category. This is the Romand Han All Fix mascara, and this is L2 Long Ash. This is a beautiful mascara. It just looks really nice and natural. It has a beautiful color, it lengthens, it separates. It's not like super crazy volumizing, it's not like wow false lash effect, but it looks really good. It's more of a natural mascara and it lasts really long, and that is also one of the reasons that I've been really enjoying this. This is a waterproof mascara and it just stays on so well, and it just looks very good. It's just a little bit of everything, this mascara, and that kind of makes me love it. And then a blush that kind of surprised me and got me a little confused. This is the Romand Spring Fever Better Than Cheek in SO2. I don't know the name. What was the name? Lychee Chip. And this looks like such a nice color. Like, this color I want it on my cheek. I want it from there to there. Like, take this and just slap it on. But it's very lightly pigmented. Like, when you swatch this, there's hardly anything that comes off. And also when you apply this to the cheek, there is hardly anything that happens. But there's something interesting with this blush where it does look very like naturally glowing and perfecting on the cheeks. Like, I don't really know how it works, but it's like, it doesn't give you a lot of pigment, but it's almost like this perfecting finishing powder. So I do feel like you can kind of combine this with things if you want a more blushy look. And I do want a little bit more of a blushy look. For me, this is too like lightly pigmented, it's too subtle. So I can use this if I combine this with things, and then I do like it because it does give me that perfecting quality, but on its own I wouldn't use this. But it could be that if you have a different makeup style to me, that you could very easily incorporate this. Maybe I'm just expecting things that they can't give me, but this was not like a huge success. I can see some merits to this, but it's just too lightly pigmented for me. If this were more pigmented, I would have loved it because of that effect on the cheeks that it has. It's really beautiful. Alright, the Flower Nose Strawberry Rococo Violet edition. I did a video with all of it, like everything that was in this collection. Usually I wouldn't do that because usually their collections are huge, but now we had kind of like a more condensed, cute, small collection, and yeah, I really enjoyed everything basically in this collection. So first up, the eyeshadow palette. This is the 5-color eyeshadow palette in G01 Star Moon Strawberry. This is such a beautiful palette. I love the quality in this. The mattes are beautiful. I love the colors, and the shimmers in this are beautifully sparkly. I just really like the tones and the undertones in this. And there's something with this palette where when I apply it on the eyes, it just kind of comes to life. Like, there's something extra going on. There's something with this quality. It just looks better than I would expect from it just looking at swatches or looking at it in a palette. I don't know how to describe it, but sometimes there's just this X factor in a formula. You can't really put your finger on it, but it just looks so good. And I just really love this deepening up shade, like for a liner in the outer corner. It just looks so beautiful. I really like that they've done something a little bit more colorful, a little bit more out there, but I can still get a softer look with this. You can really play around and get different looks, even though it's just a 5 pen. I really like this one, but it has to be like your taste in colors, of course. Then we also have 2 blushes. By the way, I don't really talk about the packaging a lot in this video because that's something that I touch more on in like the dedicated videos, but of course Flower Nose has like the most beautiful packaging basically in the makeup world, so that's already a plus. Like that's already taken into account with these reviews. But we have G01 Romantic Blossom. This is a little bit more of a fresh medium pink, really beautiful. I really liked the one on the cheeks. And then we also had the G02 Little Cranberry, a little bit more purple in undertone, a little deeper. These worked really well on me. They blended really well on me. They were like a beautiful formula. They are a little bit on the very matte side. So not a little bit, but a lot. Like they are very matte. So if you don't like very matte blushes, this might not be for you. For me, this is something that I kind of combine with other things. I would use it with a little bit of a blush topper because I do like a little bit more of a glowy cheek. Or this is something that I would combine with that Romance blush. That could be a good combination. But this is really good quality. Like they are blendable, they are pigmented, beautiful shades. I really liked these blushes. And then something that I've been really impressed with are these glosses. Like these glosses are amazing. The one in G01 I have been using a lot. This is such a beautiful fresh pink and it's just such a nice cream gloss. It looks so good on the lips, feels so good, it smells amazing. Love the packaging. These are just gorgeous glosses. Raspberry Booze is a little deeper but also a beautiful shade, a little bit more muted. And then we also had this sparkly gloss and there was shade Berry Balm. I really enjoy this as kind of like a topper. I'm gonna apply a little to show you. It's very sheer, but it's such a nice kind of like topper gloss and it's just very hydrating. So if you want to add a little bit of juiciness back into the lips, like this is such a nice way to do it. Like so. I just think this is a gorgeous gloss. And yes, it's shimmery, but I don't feel like it's chunky. It looks just very nicely 3D. And then we also had Blackberry Jam G04. This is the deepest shade, a little bit scary for me personally, but if you like a deeper kind of like pinkish red, it's a beautiful gloss. Just emphasizes a little bit more like dryness of the lips than the other ones, but I think this is a really nice one as well. This is a beautiful collection. I'm a huge fan. Glad I got it all. Like this was a hit. Then I recently did a video where I compared the new Sunkisser blushes by Maybelline with the Revolution Glow Bronzing Blush Drops. They're not the exact same product, but I just wanted to do a video with both of those because they came in my life kind of at the same time. And in that video I was like, these are quite nice, but I feel like it also had a lot to do with the Revolution ones not being quite nice. Like these didn't work for me at all and these were so bad in that video. Like they were so patchy and yeah, this looked a lot better. But in the end I have some thoughts on both of these. Like I have some things to say. So let's start with the Revolution. I was really harsh on these. I tried these different ways. I tried these like separately with different products. I tried these all over the face. I tried these all together again. They always looked a little patchy. They always looked a little weird. When I used them as a base for my whole makeup, it just looked a little dry. I have not been able to find a way that I like to use these. And I kept seeing all these Instagram reels and things where people applied these as a blush and it looked amazing. I don't like these. Also, the rosy pink blush drops, they look like the bronzing drops on me. Like these look very orange. I didn't like the shade. I haven't found a way I really like to use this. There are better things that I've tried in this category that I like way more. Like this was difficult to use. And then these. I have not really been able to replicate the look with these that I did in that first video. Like every time I used these after, it was such an issue. It looked really weird, it was hard to blend, it looked patchy, it didn't look amazing. Especially with these two deeper shades, I didn't really get them to work on me. Like there's something about them, they just look a little dry and patchy and they're a bit hard to blend. So I didn't really love those. I did use this light pink like on its own and quite liked it. Like it has some freshness to it. It's very lightly pigmented. I feel like because it's so lightly pigmented and I am fair, this is kind of like, it kind of turned out to be a good match. Like I do like the shade on me, but I feel like it's because they made it so lightly pigmented that it's hard for this to become patchy. So I did quite like this lighter shade, but I don't think it's gonna work on a lot of people because it is so light. I don't think it's gonna show up on a lot of people, but when I kind of like mix this in as a liquid blush, it kind of like freshened up the face, and I quite personally like this. But I find it a little hard to say go out and buy this, because I feel like it's a very specific kind of match with my like skin tone and tastes. Then the Too Faced bronzing stick. This is the melting bronzing and sculpting stick in chocolate mousse. There are some things about this I quite like, and there are also some things about this that don't really work for me. I like a creamy bronzer, I like the cool undertone of this, but I feel like it's just a little too deep for me, and it ends up looking a little bit patchy. Not really patchy, but just a little bit patchy. Like if I go up close to the mirror, it just looks a little strange. It doesn't look amazing, and I feel like maybe if I've become a little bit more tan, but most of the year I'm not this tan, it could work. But I feel like this is not really a match. It's very creamy, it's very deep, like it's a lighter shade, but it's quite deep. So I have to be honest with myself, I really wanted to love this because it's a little bit more of an expensive product, and I really tried, but I have to be honest, it's too creamy, it's too pigmented, and it doesn't fully work for me. Alright, then there's one more brand I want to talk about. I tried the Gloss Let's Get Nude eyeshadow palette. This is their limited edition eyeshadow palette for the summer, and I also tried with that the Dead Base Crease Killer eyeshadow base, and this is in the see-through, like this doesn't have any colors to it version. It doesn't say the exact shade name of that, but I will put it in the description. The Let's Get Nude eyeshadow palette is gorgeous. I've had no issues at all with any of the formulas in here. Shimmers are stunning. Mattes work really well. It's a beautiful eyeshadow palette if you're into warm tones, if you're into nudes, but you want something that's a little different. It has a twist. You want some sparkles, you want some multi-chrome, like this is beautiful. I really have loved all the looks that I've done with this, even though I'm not really like a warm toned girly, like it's a little on the warm side. Because of that, it's not gonna be my ultimate favorite palette, but I can really enjoy it for what it is. This is a gorgeous eyeshadow palette. And then the base. This isn't really meant, I feel, to be used all over the lids. At least on me, it doesn't work like that at all. It is way too like emollient, and it becomes a little greasy, and it actually creases faster when I use it like that. I can use it kind of as a like shimmer base, as kind of like a glitter primer, just like the NYX one. It feels a little bit like this. I just had to change my battery. If anything looks different, that is the reason. But the eyeshadow primer, I feel like even if I use it as kind of like the shimmer base, it does work well. Like at the start, it is like a very tacky base for shimmers to grab onto, but I still feel like it's a little too creamy. Maybe if I use a little less, I could still try that, but for now I don't feel like this is the perfect base for me. And then that's gonna be all my updates. I will see you in my next one. Bye bye!